So if you're a regular subscriber or watcher of the channel, you know that basically I'm into my pre-war girder fork bikes, and what we're looking at here is the girder forks on my 1938 Triumph. And what I want to point out is the spring. So when Triumph designed this, they came up with this sort of what do we call it, beehive spring? I don't know, it's smaller at the top than it is in the middle and then reduces down in size again. And basically that is the front suspension. That gives you the your wheel the contact with the road. And what I saw when I was in Auerberg in 2022, which is in Germany, which was a sort of like quite a historic hill climb, were a lot of people that had modified bikes. And if you've not worked that out as well, I really do like modifying my bikes. So this video isn't about the Triumph, but I wanted to use that front shock absorber or that front suspension as an example of what I'm intending to do with the Rudge. So let me show you the Rudge. So on the Rudge, we're going to be fitting a bit of modern technology. We're actually going to be fitting a shock absorber. And at the moment I've got some mounts that I bought off of the person that supplied the bike to me. And unfortunately the overall length between where this would bolt into the Rudge is too short. And what we need to do, or what I need to do, is to make up that difference to get the correct dimension. So I've been speaking to a guy called Christian Shell. Hello Christian. He's been very helpful with some of the stuff that I've been doing and has given me some dimensions. And what we're going to do is we're going to fabricate a new one of these. So it's got a 10mm hole that goes through, that bolts that to the shock absorber. And this position here is going to change so that the distance between that bolt hole and the mounting face is 65mm. So we're going to increase this in distance, and then we're also going to change this. So because this is longer, I'm going to thread it, and we're going to thread a thread into the new one of these, and use a high tensile bolt to take up the difference. So a lot more of that will become apparent in a moment as you follow along on the video. And yeah, let's get to that. So front shock of the Rudge, which you may or may not have seen so far, and we're going to make a new bottom mount for it. And the bottom mount is there. We're going to mill a slot in it. So here's the Rudge bottom mount. You've seen the video where I've milled the centre out, so we've made this the correct diameter, or the distance between these two faces for the shock absorber. We put the correct size bolt hole through the middle so we can attach the shock, and then I've drilled a hole in there ready to accept a thread which I've got to now put in, and then we can assemble that all up on the bike. And then I'm hoping that in short order this bike is going to look very complete, because a lot of the hard work has already been done. So I'll bring you back as I'm putting a tap down that. Now I'd love to be able to tap this in the lathe, but because of the fact that we've got these two flanges on, I can't get the three jaws to attach to it to hold it properly. The chuck's not big enough to put this down the middle and I haven't got a 4-jaw chuck, so we're basically going to have to do it the old way. So I'm going to have to do this by eye without being able to put it in the lathe, which would be the perfect way. So I'm just trying to make sure that I keep it level this way and this way, which you may or may not be able to see. It's a nice tap, so it's cutting very nicely. I'm just trying to make sure and keep it square, and also I'm not bashing into things on this. I'm ending up using this drill vise for so many things. It's so handy. Right, so here it is assembled. Ignore the temporary bolt. I'm going to make something with a proper shoulder, or I'm going to drill and tap from the other end, or I might split pin through it. I haven't decided yet, but effectively that's the new setup, and we've got the correct dimension between here and here, which is going to give me the correct ride height and also the right position of the girder forks in their stroke. Right, and here it is mounted. Top mount and a damper adjuster, and the bottom mount. Now that bolt that's through there is clearly not going to work. It's just there temporary wise. There's not much room. You've obviously got to build in some clearance between this arm and here, and make sure that nothing can clout. I've actually turned the acorn part off of this nut. Might change this altogether yet, but I've turned that off so there's some clearance there. But yeah, very pleased with that. So I'm hoping in very short order we're going to have this thing up on wheels, and it's going to be looking very much like a complete motorbike. The engine still needs to be built, but we're definitely making some nice progress.